Hello and welcome to the GeoComply Remote Darts League. This is the second edition of the Remote Darts League, and following 20 league nights over the last 3 weeks, this is finals night. And we're glad you can join us, whether it's via our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or via your favourite bookmaker's website. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's brought to you by FSB, the sports betting and gaming platform supplier. And let's say thank you once more to our sponsors at GeoComply, the iGaming industry's trusted solution for geolocation. Last night we saw the last 6 league matches of the series, and those results were key to shaping our semi-final lineup here this evening. 120 matches played. Here is the final GeoComply Remote Darts League table. Tony O'Shea competed well last night in defeating Paul Hogan and Jim Williams. He finishes his campaign in 10th position. For Jim Williams, that defeat to O'Shea ended his hopes for a top 4 place and sees him finish in 8th. But you can see how close and congested that mid-table section became, with 7 players separated by just 3 points, from Joe Cheney in 5th place down to Justin in 11th. We enjoyed Ladies' Night on Friday, of course. It was Lorraine Winstanley that finished the highest of the 4 in 13th place there on the table. But now let's focus on the top 4, and Paul Hogan can breathe a sigh of relief, that's for sure. A nervous night saw him suffer 3 defeats, but he remains in the top 4. Ireland's John O'Shea had to watch on nervously too, but ultimately moved up to 3rd place on legs difference due to those Hogan defeats. John will face Richard Veenstra in tonight's semi-finals, the Dutchman in 2nd place having already secured his place 2 days ago. And at number 1, it's the reigning Remote Darts League champion James Richardson. A superb campaign has seen him remain unbeaten throughout and 6 points clear at the top of the table. In a repeat of our first Remote Darts League final, he will be facing Paul Hogan in an all-English semi-final. So here we go. This is it. It's time for our GeoComply Remote Darts League semi-finals, each played over the best of 15 legs. Our second match will see Flyers Richard Veenstra versus the Joker John O'Shea. But first up, you can see there the all-English affair. It's ruthless James Richardson against Crocodile Dundee Paul Hogan. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Rich. Evening, James.
So, a new day for you both. Paul Hogan, it was a nervous one for you yesterday. You weren't quite sure how it would all end up. But now, a completely different outlook for you 24 hours later. You're in the semi-finals. It's knockout time. You know all about that. Game on. It starts again here.
Yeah, it's game on now. It was a disaster last night. I don't know what happened. I scored well, missed doubles. Just don't know what happened. And I was dancing around the room when Tony beat Jim.
It was absolutely key for you.
But I mean, I'm playing James. He's unbeaten. He's on form. And I played well against him last night, but I just missed a few doubles against him. So it's going to be another tough game against him.
Yeah, well, you both know that the way that this second campaign of the RDL has played out, you're playing 3 games on one night. So if you have your night, that's great. And if you're on song, it often maintains. But other nights, you may not be clicking just as well. And you've both had nights like that. Paul, you had 2 evenings where you won 3 out of 3. James, we come to you. You had 3 evenings that way where you won 3 out of 3. And overall, as we've been saying throughout, unbeaten, a fantastic campaign for you. 15 games played, not defeated yet, but now, semi-finals time, it starts with a clean slate with the other 3.
Yeah, and it's knockout stage now. Just got to see what happens. Hopefully we can put a show on for the viewers and see what happens.
I mean, is there any highlights for you looking back over the past 5 nights that you've played? I mean, it must have given you great pleasure. That average that you had against Lorraine Winstanley, that's the standout performance, 115 plus there. But I look at last night for you, playing your three rivals from the first Remote Darts League and beating all three of them by 6 legs to 2.
Yeah, I mean, like Paul said, he missed doubles. It could have been a different score. Probably the same against Tony and Jim. But I would say about, the 115 average, I've never hit that in my whole life. On tour, on WDF stuff or whatever, never done that. So that's a new high for me.
And Paul, is last night in the back of your mind? I know I'm reminding you of it. I mean, do you feel different to how you felt a day ago? There was a lot of confusion about league positions, what ifs, whereas now, surely a clean view now. You know what you have to do. Win this match, you're in the final.
Exactly, yeah. I've just got to go out and beat James. I mean, last night he's gone now, and I've just got to concentrate and hopefully I'll play well.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you guys met in the league, it was a 6-6 draw, so it's not been 100% for James.
No.
James, I mean,
to the game.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. And James, I mean, I don't think there's a game you don't look forward to. I mean, looking at the way you've played throughout the 2 campaigns, you always seem, we can't see you, of course, but we just get the energy from you. There's a spring in your step. That you just seem to be always in good spirits playing these matches at home. You seem very comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. I'm enjoying them, to be quite honest. And I mean, I've got the perfect setup at home here for this, and everything's clicking into place. And how long it continue? How long are we going to be doing this? We don't know, do we? So that's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paul, we've mentioned it a lot, but it's worth re-emphasising before we begin just what a great asset this has been for so many darts players, this virtual online remote darts that we're doing. Paul, it's so good, isn't it, to stay competitive in a situation where the majority of other sports are completely redundant. With darts, we're able to still have competitive action.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I first played, I mean, it gives all the players, the experience to try and get back into darts. And I mean, I found it strange at first, but yeah, it's I really enjoyed it. And I mean, every player that's played in this league, I mean, they played really well. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way
Excellent.
it's gone.
Well, the format moves up slightly now. We go to the best of 15 legs. No mention of draws this time. It's the first to 8. I think it's time we let you two have a throw, loosen up, and get ready for this first semi-final.
Cheers, Rich. All the best, James.
All the best.
Yeah, great to speak to these two players, and it's worth mentioning for them on their behalf how helpful the wives have been. Angela Hogan and Carolyn Richardson have been doing all the hard work with the cameras and getting the lads ready for the evening. It's a team effort in both camps, I can assure you. If you didn't already know Paul Hogan, we know him, of course, as Crocodile Dundee. He's based in Basingstoke, Hampshire. And James Richardson, Ruthless, is in Rushton, Northamptonshire. 2 Englishmen. We're guaranteed to have 1 English player in our final. But who? You'll see the order of throw there. That has been determined by league position. So we don't have a bull-up. We know that James throws first as the number 1 seed. And then all the legs, of course, alternate throw with the darts. Gents, are you both ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey,
This is it. Our first Geo-Comply Remote Darts League semi-final, best of 15 legs. First leg, it's James to throw first. Game on.
Unfortunately,
$121. 100.
26.
100.
30.
140.
James, you require 145.
65.
Paul, you require 40.
14-1.
It's game shot and the first leg to Paul Hogan. Second leg, Paul to throw first.
180.
A perfect start to the leg, the first of the match, Paul Hogan.
64.
59.
96.
140.
124.
Paul, you require 122.
90.
29.
Paul, you require 32.
32-2.
Game shot on the second leg, Paul Hogan. Third leg, James to throw first.
100.
100.
121.
38.
33.
125.
100.
140.
James requires 137.
47.
Paul, you require 98.
82.
James, you require 40.
Low score.
Paul, you require 16.
16 in 1.
It's game shot and the third leg to Paul Hogan. Fourth leg, Paul to throw first.
$137.
100.
140.
95.
60.
100.
Paul, you require 164.
100.
100.
Paul, you require 64.
Lucky last start. 64.
Yeah, finds the double eight. There it is for the fourth leg. Fifth leg, it's James to throw first.
$100.
140.
180.
James's first 180 of the match, one apiece.
95.
100.
60.
James, you require 121.
62.
22.
James, you require 59.
2.
Game shot and the fifth leg, James Richardson. Sixth leg, Paul to throw first.
85.
93.
140.
99.
100.
127.
100.
Last score for James was 177.
100.
Yep, no worries, Paul. It's correct in James's. 177. And 100 for Paul, and James requires 132.
$64.
64, and Paul requires 76.
$76 in 3.
And if you remove the 20, we'll see that double 18. Yes, there it is for the 6th leg, Paul Hogan. 7th leg, it's James to throw first.
$58.
82.
140.
140.
95.
60.
100.
99.
James requires 108.
60.
Paul, you require 120.
60.
James requires 48.
2.
Game shot on the 7th leg, James Richardson. 8th leg, Paul to throw first.
$100.
43.
55.
140.
43.
140.
180.
Paul's second 180 of the match.
42.
42, and Paul requires 123.
Oh. 100 and...
That's 98 if that's a 25, Paul.
Yeah,
Yeah, 98 scored. James on 136.
96.
Paul, you require 25.
9.
James, you require 40. It's game shot. And the 8th leg to James, and the 9th leg it's James to throw first.
And 40.
$80.
180.
180 for James, 2 apiece.
81.
56.
140.
James, you require 125.
65.
81.
James requires 60.
3.
Game shot and the 9th leg to James Richardson. 10th leg, Paul to throw first.
100.
180.
3rd 180 for James.
140.
140.
80.
100.
131.
James requires 81.
41.
Paul, you require 50.
15-2.
Game shot and the 10th leg to Paul Hogan. 11th leg, James to throw first.
83.
41.
41.
95.
41.
100.
125.
90. 97.
140.
84. 82, sorry.
82 scored, and James requires 71. Paul requires 86.
Ah, 70.
James requires 16. Paul requires 16.
16 in 1.
Game shot, and the 11th leg to Paul Hogan. 12th leg, Paul to throw first.
$78.
100.
45.
124.
100.
58.
180.
The sixth 180 of the match, 3 apiece.
140.
Paul, you require 98.
Ah, 60.
James, you require 69.
49.
Paul, you require 38.
38 in 2.
It's game, shot, and the match to Paul Hogan.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed, Paul. Unbelievable. Well, Paul, elaborate on that. You say unbelievable. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling absolutely great. I mean, I scored well there. James wasn't himself the first five legs, and then he started coming back at me. He started scoring. He did miss a few doubles. Well, yeah, I'm over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, as you should be. Overall, Paul, some clinical finishing. Certainly in the middle of the game there, when you really took control. The 64, the 76 with the last dart in hand. I mean, James, I think Paul's right that just your scoring, probably the first time across the whole campaign, early on in the game, the first 3 or 4 legs, wasn't quite there for you.
No, nothing happened, Richard, and Paul pounced on it and scored really well and finished well. Fair play to you, Paul. Well done, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
That starts for you, and Paul will tell you that.
Absolutely. Now, to your credit, James, you were 4-0 down, 5-1 down. You had a dart at tops to make it 5-5.
Yeah.
You know, you absolutely dug in. You just had one dart at tops there. And another crucial moment that I made a note of, Paul, was when you wanted that 1-2-3, you missed the bull. You came back for 25 and missed the 2 at double 8. That was for 6-2. And again, James stepped in, and I wondered then if the comeback would begin.
Yeah, I think it was. I was struggling a little bit then. I thought, I played him last night. I missed a few doubles and I started panicking a bit. But I regrouped myself. I calmed myself down, and I'm just happy, to get to the final again.
Yeah, I mean, we could hear it in your voice. You felt like every miss pull was absolutely even right at the end there. You missed those 2 at double 19. You're leading 7-4. And they could almost hear you saying, "Oh, my chance has gone," because you know what James can do.
Yeah, exactly. I was good. Come on, I mean, James has been absolutely phenomenal all this league, and to beat him in the semis, it's a fantastic achievement for me.
Great result, and it reverses, of course, that result in the final of our first remote darts league. But hey, James, I wouldn't be too despondent. I'm sure you're not feeling great now, but when you reflect on the way you've played and what you've achieved across both of our remote darts leagues, I mean, that's only your second defeat across all of the matches you've played. So 26, 27 games. I mean, fantastic.
Yeah, I'll probably set the bar, a bit high, with the wins and that, and I just like playing darts, and the wins come my way, and I take them, and I produce it in the remote league 1 and remote league 2, and it comes to now. Like Paul beat me, that's my second loss. Tony O'Shea done it in the first one, and I'm happy with what I'm doing at the minute. I'm happy with myself. Okay, I lost, but. You take it and you go on to the next one now, Play the ball, all the best in the final, maybe. And Richard Veenstra and John O'Shea is going to be back in the game, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll end on a positive note. Yeah, nice words indeed, Paul. And we'll end on a positive note from James. I know there's a special message you want to give out away from the darts, so let's hear it.
Yeah, there is. Well, this Saturday is my mum and dad's wedding anniversary. Golden wedding anniversary, the 50th.
It's a bullseye.
Yeah, they've been married 50 years, Chris and Nora. And it's my dad's birthday. I was 73 on Saturday, and I just want to, wish them all the best. And, unlucky dad and mum, I didn't do it tonight, but, it's 3 other times, and we'll celebrate. But, love you all the bits.
Yeah, lovely words, James, and no doubt you've done them proud throughout this. It's great they've been able to watch all of this darts via the Remote Darts League. James, we hopefully see you again soon, and hopefully you're going to join Dean Winstanley right at the end of the evening for our after party, so have a bit more of a chat with him later. Enjoy the rest of your evening if you can. I wouldn't blame you for not watching, but do try and enjoy the rest of your evening. And Paul, you're certainly going to enjoy the rest of your evening because you're going to be back with us for the final. Congratulations on this semi-final win. Crocodile Dundee is through.
Cheers, Richard. Thank you.
All the best, Paul.
Cheers, James. Appreciate that, mate. Cheers.
Well done, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be a great semi-final match between our first 2 finalists. It's Paul Hogan this time that goes through to his second Remote Darts League final. Let's not forget that. And we're certainly not going to forget what's coming up next. The man from the Netherlands, Flyers, Richard Veenstra, takes on the Irishman, the Joker, John O'Shea. Yes, welcome back to finals night here at the Geo Comply Remote Darts League. We already know that Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, is through to our final, an 8-4 semi-final victory over the defending champion, James Richardson. So now it's time for semi-final number 2 and some international flavour here because from the Republic of Ireland, it's the Joker, John O'Shea. And from the Netherlands, it's Flyers, Richard Veenstra. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, were you both watching the action last night? Richard, you must have been able to sit there, feet up, relaxed, knowing you're already in the semi-finals and just enjoy the action.
Yeah, I only missed the last 2 games. I went to bed then because it was early day today to get to work.
Exactly. Nice, easy evening. You could relax. But, John, for you didn't know if you'd be with us this evening. We didn't know when we left you on Saturday. We had no idea what was going to occur. But you're here. You're with us.
Yeah. Well, it's a horrible position to be in, expecting other fellas to lose for me to go through. You know, it's not a nice thing to be. You know, we're all good mates. Like, we don't want any of them to lose, but. You know, I was shouting for my dad last night. I was.
Yeah, his dad Tony. Yes, indeed. But hey, I mean, John, let's look back at this. You put yourself right back in the picture with those hat-trick of wins. That included a win over Tony O'Shea. The session before last, didn't you? Tony, Laura Turner and Larry Butler. That really put you in the frame. You came into your final session. The first man you took on was Richard Veenstra, who we thought at the time had put a bit of a dent in your campaign with a win.
Yeah, it's turning out to be myself and Richard has a bit of a rivalry going at the moment. We played more times than anybody else, but yeah, I was expecting that was actually a cracking game. I was expecting a win out of that. When I missed the 36 for the 156, I would have settled for the draw, but unfortunately for me, I got the loss. But yeah, Richard played well then. He didn't.
Yeah, that was a funny game, Rich. I mean, I think John at one point thought you'd already won the match and it wasn't over.
Yeah. My score, I didn't know my score, and John was thinking I was out, but.
Yeah, great moment, but a great session for you there, Rich, because you needed the points on the board, and you picked up 5 out of 6 and secured your second place in the league. That win over John, win over Joe Cheney, a draw with Justin, and all of those guys were pushing for a top 4 place.
Yeah. It was very close, and yeah, it all depends on the last night, and I really feel comfortable the last night, but with 5 points, I'm very happy with it.
Yep, so it means that Richard finished the league in second, John in third. I mean, like you say, John, you were looking at people's results, but you're here on merit. You've ended up in third place because of what you've done on the board.
Yeah, I thought I played well throughout the whole tournament. Like I said to you the other night, I thought there was 1 or 2 games that I probably left get away from me. And like I said to you, the one that sticks out most is the one against David Cameron when I was 4-0 up. You know, these things happen. David played really, really well to get the draw off me, like, you know. But these things happen. They're all quality dart players. So anything. It's a different night tonight, and that's darts. That's the good thing about darts. There's always tomorrow. There's always another day. You know?
Absolutely, and I was discussing with Paul and James at the start. You've both had sessions as well where you've come in and won 3 out of 3. And that's the thing with the Remote Darts League, isn't it? If it all clicks on any given night, because you were playing 3 games in a night, your form can get those points on the board. You could look at tonight similarly, Richard. If you get rolling and those darts are flowing, big night, pick up the 2 wins, you're the champion.
I'll go for it. So there's nothing more I can do, and yeah, we'll see what happens. It's all been good games, and it's very close to each other. It all depends on the doubles. Yeah.
It does indeed, and you've got 2 tough opponents if you're going to do it. You've got John O'Shea, and we already know Paul's in the final. I mean, Paul Hogan, would you look at that as a bit of a shock that he beat James?
And I wouldn't put it down as a shock. I've played Paul before, and I've been around both of those players before, and I've seen both of them play. I wouldn't put it down to a shock. I suppose James's form probably. How would you put it?
Yeah, you'd have made him favourite, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have made James favourite going on form, but I know Paul Hogan. I know what Paul is capable of doing, and he just done exactly what I knew he was capable of doing, you know. But yeah, James was unlucky, like, you know what I mean, like. But you know, when you're constantly winning, there has to come a time where you're going to lose.
Exactly. It has to come to an end at some point. But hey, you guys are pretty level on form, Rich. I mean, I think this one's tough to pick a favourite, and we're just looking forward to a great game. Richard, we know you like to get on with it. You play at a good pace, but so does John. He's similar, so I think your game's really going to suit each other. Do you?
Oh yeah, I'm very happy with everybody in the sheet. Only Justin Thompson is not my pace, but yeah, no.
I'm going to
do either way I'm playing.
Yeah, I don't think you will, John. I know you like to get on with it, and we're looking forward to this. So let's all get on with it. It is semi-final time, number 2 here. So let's get Richard Veenstra and John O'Shea on that practice board. Yeah, 2 fluent, fast throwers here. Of course, John O'Shea, the reigning World Masters champion, a title he picked up last year. And last year, Richard Veenstra won the biggest open there is, the Dutch Open. So both of them with biggies in 2019. They'd love to add the Remote Darts League title in 2020. This semi-final is the best of 15 legs. So again, the first to 8 goes through to our final to meet Paul Hogan. Again, the seeding. Yeah, the seeding defines who throws first, so it's Richard that starts the match.
Good.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Richard.
Yeah. Good game.
Best of luck, Richard.
The first leg, it's Richard to throw first. Game on.
$58.
100.
140.
93.
54.
100.
57.
140.
100.
John requires 68.
48.
Richard, you require 92.
Game in 3.
Yeah, the bullseye, the 10, the double 16 is the first leg to Richard Veenstra. Second leg, John to throw first.
One, two, three.
41.
60.
100. 100.
83. Oh, sorry, 81.
81 scored.
123.
83.
45.
John requires 154.
94.
140.
John requires 60.
20.
Richard requires 52.
Payment 2.
Yeah, the double 16 again, the second leg, Richard Veenstra. Third leg is Richard to throw first.
$60.
44.
95.
134.
85.
125.
140.
43.
Richard requires 121.
Payment 3.
Lovely check out. Treble 20, 25, double 18 for Richard Veenstra. Third leg. Fourth leg is John to throw first.
$83.
96.
55.
60.
60.
177.
140.
100.
60.
Richard requires 68.
52.
John, you require 103.
47.
47, and Richard requires 16.
12.
John requires 56.
go away.
36 scored, and Richard requires 4.
Yeah, the last one.
Finds it with the last one, as he says, the double 2. To take the 4th leg, Richard Veenstra. 5th leg, it's Richard to throw first.
$58.
100.
140.
180.
The first 180 of the match goes to John.
59.
91.
180.
Second 180 of the match, but John on 130.
58.
Richard requires 64.
Game in 2.
Yes, it's the 5th leg to Richard Veenstra. 6th leg is John to throw first.
On 40.
96.
100.
80.
100.
60.
John requires 161.
100.
47.
John requires 61.
21.
21 scored.
140.
John requires 40.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 30.
30 scored. Richard requires 78.
Game in 2.
All right, check out once again for Richard Veenstra. Treble 18, double 12 to take the 6th leg. 7th leg, Richard to throw first.
I'm going back now.
100.
100.
58.
96. What? No, 58. Sorry.
58 scored. Thanks, John.
Right.
45.
97.
59.
121.
121.
100.
John requires 125.
100.
Richard requires 139.
99.
John, you require 25.
2.
Well, we'd love to have seen the bull 25 bull, but there's the double 8 that takes the 7th leg for John O'Shea. 8th leg, it's John to throw first.
100.
100.
60.
100.
140.
60.
45.
140.
John requires 156.
60.
Richard requires 101.
69.
John requires 96.
Oh, you don't. 42.
42. Richard requires 32.
Game on 1.
It's game shot and the 8th leg to Richard Veenstra. 9th leg, Richard throws first.
97.
60.
100.
140.
97.
57.
57.
140.
Richard requires 150.
96.
John requires 104.
84.
Richard requires 54.
Game in 3.
It's game shot and the match to Richard Veenstra. Well, Richie, that was superb as far as the finishing was concerned. Barely missed a thing. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't miss any double, I think. Maybe 3 or 4, but yeah, the doubles went really good.
Yeah, I mean, right at the... I think the legs that you had throw on, I think that was the key thing. 92 in the first leg, the 1-2-1 in the third leg, the 64-2 in the fifth leg. You never gave John a chance to recover from the early deficit.
No, you can't give him a chance, otherwise he's out. So
yeah.
So you need those chances you got. So yeah, I'm very happy with it.
I mean, John, I know it's difficult for you to chat with us at this point. It's probably the last thing you want to do, but let's be looking at the first half of the match, because in the legs that you were starting, legs 2, 4, and 6, in all of those you had darts at tops and tens. It should have been 3-3 from your point of view. You had darts to win the legs you started.
Yeah, like what worked the other night didn't work tonight.
Yeah.
Bottom line. If you miss, like I said before, if you miss against these boys will put you away. That's the bottom line. You know, yeah, I am disgusted with that, with missing doubles, like, you know what I mean? Like, but what can you do? Nobody died.
And remarkably, the tops and tens have been such a friend to you throughout this event. They just weren't there tonight.
My finishing has been... I complained earlier on at the start of the league that my finishing wasn't great, and then I picked it up. And then when I needed it most again tonight, it let me down. Man, I'm actually... do you know what? I have no nerves. I felt as comfortable. I practiced well today. Practiced well before the game started. And then, of course...
Yeah, indeed. Well, I guess these semi-finals for you, John, are bittersweet, because you had the nervous wait to see if you were in, and then when they finally happened, it just didn't click for you. Like you say, you weren't nervous at this point, and it's probably the most relaxed you've been.
The pressure was off. The pressure was off me after qualifying from last night, and now I feel I've left everybody. I feel I've left everybody down that squeezed me through. I feel I've let myself down because, you know, but you know, like another night I hit those doubles and it's 3-all or 4-3 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but fair play to Richard. Like, Richard didn't miss. He missed nothing.
No, absolutely.
You know?
And you, there's no one that you've let down, John, because as I say, your position in the league table was on merit of what you achieved, not what others didn't, to be fair. So credit to you there. A third place finish. It's been a good campaign for you overall. So aside of the match we've just played, I hope you've enjoyed the experience with the Remote Darts League.
Oh, absolutely. Behind the scenes, all the lads, Dean, Kevin, yourself, all the players, you know, but I have to give a big shout out to the kids. You know, Kelly, Jake, Kenneth and Maisie and Laura, you know, and fair play to them, you know, shutting off their PlayStations, you know, like they've found it tough over the last few months, you know, in lockdown. So I've just left them. We're normally at rugby and stuff like that, like with the kids.
Yeah.
Maisie's at gymnastics and stuff, but I've left them on their devices because what else is there to do for them? There's nothing else.
It is such a difficult time, and I hope, John, that this has brought a bit of... It has for a lot of players and people watching. It's a bit of light in an otherwise, you know, difficult time. So thanks for being part of it. It's great to have an Irishman in the field. We've enjoyed that, certainly.
Yeah, thanks a million, Richard.
And we've certainly enjoyed having...
I'll catch that Richard Veenstra yet, John.
Indeed.
Thank you, John.
Well done, Kate.
The Dutchman stands by quietly, but it's been terrific having you involved, Mr. Veenstra, and you're still involved through to our final. Now, when you started the Remote Darts League, were you thinking about the top 4? Were you even thinking about winning the tournament?
Yeah, the first one is to reach the top 4, and you have to focus on that. And everything is possible. Great player, so you need to be good prepared for all your games. Otherwise, you can't win and get the top 4. And I really practice really good. And yeah, in the beginning I got some bad luck, and yeah, the tournaments, it's up and running. I'll play better, and my doubles are really good the last time. So yeah, I need to do that in the final against Paul, because yeah, otherwise he smacked me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how do you feel about going up against Paul Hogan?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter who you play. If you play your own game, and if I'll play just like now against John, my doubles went in, then Paul's got a tough game, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Paul's a great player, and he can beat everybody. He beat on the UK Open Gary Anderson and Adrian Lewis in best of 10 of 19 legs, so yeah.
Absolutely. No, we know the man can play, and so can you. John, commiserations. Richard, congratulations. We're going to give you a little break. You'll be back on with us in about 15 minutes' time, around 11:30 Dutch time, 10:30 with us in the UK and Ireland. But we will look forward to seeing you in the final against Paul Hogan.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Bye.
Well done, Rich. Well done, buddy.
So we know who is in our final. It's England's Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, and the Dutchman, Richard Veenstra. We're going to take a short break on Facebook Live, but if you're watching on the YouTube channel, do stick with us, because during this little break that we're giving our players before the final, I'll be bringing back a couple of players that have taken part in our Remote Darts League, Laura Turner and Lorraine Winstanley, to have a little chat about what's gone before and the final that's about to happen. So stick with us and we'll be back very shortly. Hello again from the Geo Comply Remote Darts League. We're all set for our final. It's going to get underway in about 10 minutes' time. It's a best of 19 leg clash between England's Paul Hogan and from the Netherlands, Richard Veenstra. We look forward to that, and to help us preview that and talk about all things Remote Darts League, I've been joined by two of our participants. We've got England's Lorraine Winstanley and her fellow English lady, Laura Turner. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Richard. Evening, Laura.
Evening, Lorraine.
Look at that. I couldn't be better placed here.
Our little rose between two thorns, yeah.
Squished in the middle.
Little rose. I'll go thorn between two roses, but however you wish. Look, we had great fun on Friday night when you finished your campaign. Ladies' night, it was great to see you two up against each other and playing against Stacey and Tina. So let's start on that, really, and we'll start with Laura, just as she's on the left. Laura, the ladies participating, lots of positives pre-tournament that was happening, but I know disappointment overall, no more so than from you four, about how it all turned out on the board.
Yeah, I think actually Stacey did it best after I played her, and she went, "We want a do-over. You know, we want to have another shot at it." But no, I mean, the fact that we're all participating is just another good step towards just, you know, how we all need to be, how we all need to move together, just to improve and push up the ladies' darts, not just in terms of our standard, because actually we know that we can. You know, I beat Darren on the opening night. Okay, it wasn't the best game ever, but I mean, and Lorraine's had some fantastic games against the guys. But overall, I think just the integration and the actual fact and the opportunity that we get to play against these guys that we never normally get to, it's been a fantastic opportunity for us.
Yeah, I think Lorraine mentioned to me on more than one occasion, I don't think the results were what were bothering you. It was the performance, because you just wanted to play the way you know you can and we know you can.
That's right. And I think there was a lot of pressure on us, to be honest, because it was totally new anyway, because we don't really get to play the guys. And also the situation was totally new as well, playing from home. So the whole experience was brilliant, but yeah, just frustrating because we just didn't get into the rhythm and get the results. But yeah, the pressure is on to sort of play well. You're expected to play well. And a lot of that pressure is what we put on ourselves as well, because we expect to play well because we know we can. So it's disappointing when you don't.
Yeah, and you kind of feel like you're not only representing yourself, but like you say, there is this whole quest that we see women's darts more mainstream, and maybe that burden carries a little bit when you're playing.
Yeah, it's that doing it for the girls, isn't it? You know, and it's it does put a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Laura, we're saying about Tina saying if you could start again, but let's say there's another remote darts league. How would you like to see it shaped, if any, differently? Do you think there's scope for a women's remote darts league, or do you think it would be best to have another league with women involved with the men?
This is the ongoing argument. I can actually see a place for both. I think actually especially because at the end of the league, we'd had 4 weeks where we'd got used to actually playing from home, where we got used to playing, you know, at a certain level to try and compete with the guys. And actually, you know, compared to other results, we actually all did quite well playing against each other. So I think there is definitely scope for a women's RDL. However, I also think that you wouldn't want to not play against the guys, because again, you don't get that opportunity very often. And it's been great to be able to play against people that we've never been able to play against, you know, some of the best men in the world. So, you know, I reckon we should just have both. And me and Lorraine will be in both of them too.
In both, yeah, that sounds good to me.
So do you concur, Lorraine, you'd say let's have a women's league and have a joint one?
Yeah, I think Laura's summed that up perfectly, because, yeah, it's great to play the fellas. We know that we can play, but you're a little bit more relaxed playing the girls, and when you're a little bit more relaxed, you know, you tend to play better or feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and the word for Tina and Stacey, I mean, they were completely out of their comfort zone. They both said so in interviews at times. We know what they can do and what they've done on their continents in women's events. I actually gave them both a lot of credit with how at times, because they were completely up against it and facing a lot of criticism, how they both bounced back and actually put performances in. Yeah,
I was just going to say I felt for Tina, because to be getting up at that time and playing competitively on Shota, YouTube World and whatnot is that takes some doing. And on the back of that, you know, if you do read the comments and things, there's a lot of negativity out there, and I personally didn't read it. People can say what they want. I didn't read it, so I can't take that on board. Then I did that a few years ago, and it ruined me for a little while. So now I don't take notice of that. But yeah, to be up at that time in the morning, it was a good time for Stacey, really, sort of mid-afternoon. It was quite civilised.
Well, so yeah, Stacey certainly wins the award for the most apologies during the campaign. That's
and the most camera drops.
Absolutely, oh, fantastic! The leading camera, brilliant. I mean, Laura, let's talk about the concept overall. But there's always a dispute, of course, in any tournament, whether it's a staged event or an online one, about formats, about how it plays out. We did a league with 16 players across 20 nights. Are there pluses? Are there minuses against this? What's your view on it?
No, I mean, actually, I think it was, obviously, I wasn't a participant. I watched RDL 1, but I wasn't a participant in it. But actually, in terms of how that made me feel as a player, I mean, especially night 1, where I'd actually kicked off with a win, I was just buzzing for the rest of the night. I don't know if you could tell, but I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm not going to drop a leg. Oh, and then came week 2. But no, it's nice to actually, because sometimes when you're only playing a certain set format and you've got one chance, and I think that's a really big thing with the women's game especially, you know, you only get one chance every so often. And this has actually given us more chances more often. And, you know, okay, so I felt personally I played really well the first 2 weeks, you know, compared to what I've done anyway that other people have seen. And then Lorraine came in and then played excellent, like week 3, week 4, she had fantastic. And then, and obviously week 3, you know, where she just stuffed us all, you know. But,
yes.
But what I'm saying is, you know, it allows you, not just us as women, but actually just, you know, every single player, the format that you've got this time actually allows you to kind of have a game. You might have a good game, a bad game, but you know you can come back and then maybe give it another go. All the games are, you know, every game is so different. I think Hogan showed it tonight against Richardson. You know, Richardson hadn't lost a game, whole new night, sets it off. Gosh, every game is different. So the fact that you get to have 3 chances in one night, I've loved it. I think it was a brilliant format.
I think you're absolutely right, and we'll talk about those semi-finals in just a moment. We'll come back to you on that one, Laura. Lorraine, you were one of the players that did have one of those nights. On your last night, you won all 3 of your games. We've seen a few players do it. I counted them up. I think 7 different players did it. You were one of them. So I like the format for that you've got those return matches, or if you haven't defeated the first game, you can come back and bounce back.
Yeah, I agree. And sort of living and breathing RDL 1 from the other side of the hockey with Dean playing, I felt that to play more games on one night and then have a couple of nights off or whatever was much better, because you're gearing yourself up. That's what you do in a tournament, apart from the majors where you tend to play one round and then the next round the following day. So yeah, you have a bad game, it gives you a chance to correct it, and if you have a good game, you're flying high. And I think it's nice to have that break and gives you time to practice if it's not gone as well, or it gives you the buzz to practice if it has gone well, because obviously you want to stay in that frame of mind.
Yeah, and the league played out really. I mean, it was so close in the midsection there. There were so many players. I think I commented in the intro. There were 6-7 players, I think, with just 3 points between them from 5th down to 11th. But let's concentrate on the top 4. Laura, you've mentioned that first game. Let's go back to it. Our semi-final tonight. James Richardson comes in, unbeaten in the whole campaign. Fantastic performance. 13 wins, 2 draws. He plays Paul Hogan, who lost all 3 of his matches last night. Nervy, wondering if he was going to be in the top 4. Paul Hogan defeats the reigning champion 8-4.
Yeah, I've known Paul for a long time, and he's one of those players that, if you write him off, there's something wrong with you, because he is such an amazingly steady player. I mean, Richardson, like James, has had an amazing tournament. I mean, I think, he had 100 plus against, I think he had 100 plus against me. He had 115 against the Rain. Maybe he was just saving it. Maybe he was saving it for us.
I think we just bring out the best in them. That's
no. But irrelevant of that, he's had a fantastic league. However, this isn't now the league, is it? This is the business end of it, and it is just a totally different ball game. So you're just, I think, as you said earlier, you're kind of starting from scratch. This is a whole new thing, and Paul's got through by, I wouldn't say the skin of his teeth, because he's also had a fab competition. He's just, unfortunately, just kind of let it go on the last night. But still, he'd done enough. He'd done enough to get through on 4 nights, which actually is a testament to how well he's played prior to that. So, it's not actually a surprise. It's just the fact that James had played so well and Paul hadn't last night. But no, it's Paul Hogan, he's
yeah, absolutely. And James mounted a great comeback. He had a dart to make it 5-5. He drove 4-0, 5-1. So we know that James still stuck in. Paul held his nerve. That's the key thing. He's in the final, and Lorraine, Paul's going to be facing Richard Veenstra. We've just seen a blistering performance against John O'Shea. We thought that one was going to go right to the wire.
Yeah, I agree, because John's had a fantastic tournament. But Richard's finishing outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And yes, John missed a couple of chances, so the scoreline could have been different, especially early on in the game.
Yeah.
But you just can't knock that finishing from Richard. So I think it's going to be a fantastic final, because both good paced players.
Yes.
You've not got one really slow one really fast one. Richard's just like got smoke coming off his heels as he goes anyway. And Paul is steady and consistent. So I think it's going to be a really, really good final.
Yeah, you had to say good pace players like I had to say player promo. It's not easy. But I think the pace is a real key factor. And Richard, he's probably the player in the whole of the 16 of you. At times, his first dart has landed as the third dart of the other player has just been thrown.
The score.
Yeah. But Paul likes to get on with it as well, so we won't have to worry about anything like that. Paul loves that kind of pace, and it's a match we really look forward to. And Laura, that any player will say, won't they? The longer the format, the more they will feel the best player will win. It's best of 19 now, the first to 10.
Yeah, totally. I think both of them are going to go into this really confident for different reasons. I think Hoagie's got that scoring power, isn't he? Hoagie always does, but he's always sometimes, if he's going to let him get his game down, it's always going to be around the doubles. Whereas Richard, I don't think Richard actually stops to think about anything. He's just bang, 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 and bang, 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 and it's done. So I think it's going to be an interesting final, because they've both had good ups and downs. But no, I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, good point, Laura. So the scorer against the finisher, perhaps. Lorraine, temperament will play a part, and we know these players well on the circuit. Richard, I think if he was any more laid back, he'd be laying down. I mean, so calm.
You can say that about the both of them, though, can't you? Because Paul is just Paul. He just turns up and gets on with the job. Richard turns up at top speed and gets on with the job. So yeah, it's. I'm just dead excited. It's going to be great.
Well, Lorraine, you've made the best point of all about getting on with the job, because it's final time. So I just want to thank both of you, not only for the part you've played in the event, but love chatting with you. It's been great after the games, and especially good now. So Laura and Lorraine, thank you for your company over the past 3 weeks, and hopefully we see you in the Remote Darts League again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for all your help as well.
Thank you. Yep, 2 great players, 2 lovely ladies. Always good to talk to Laura and Lorraine, and we'll be back with that final we've just previewed. It's Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, and Flyers, Richard Veenstra. Good evening and welcome back. Brought to you by FSB. This is the GeoComply Remote Darts League. Over the past 3 weeks, we've enjoyed 120 league matches, not to mention our 2 semi-finals here this evening. We saw Paul Hogan defeat the reigning champion James Richardson by 8 legs to 4, and we've just watched Richard Veenstra defeat Ireland's John O'Shea by 8 legs to 1. That means our final over the best of 19 legs will be between the Englishman, Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan, and of course the Dutchman, Flyers, Richard Veenstra.
Good evening.
Here they are, and there's the caption, best of 19. It's all lined up. We can see the face of Richard, and now Paul Hogan joins us. Hello, hello.
Hi, Richard.
We're all set for our final.
Richard.
Well, we'll speak to the one name we know who we're talking to. That's Paul. Have you calmed down after that win? You must be delighted to get that win over your old rival there, James Richardson.
Yeah, definitely. I went into it tonight, relaxed, after my performance the other night didn't go. But I'm very happy to win. I mean, to get to 2 finals, I've done absolutely brilliant. But I've got a class player again in Richard.
Yeah, you should be delighted with that, rightly so, Paul. Finalist in the first one, you're back in it for the second. And from your point of view, of course, you want to go one better. You've mentioned your opponent. Actually, Paul, looking at your record, you went 3 nights with us, 9 games unbeaten. Your first defeat of this campaign. Do you remember that, Richard? It was you.
Yeah. I needed win to get in top of the ranking, so...
Yeah, it was a great game, as I recall. 6 legs to 3.
Yeah, that was a good night for me.
I missed doubles in that as well.
You did, but I think from Richard's point of view, it was important that he might not have been here tonight if it wasn't for that stepping stone, Paul. Not that you would want to help him in any way, of course. As the league phase ended up, Richard, you finished second, and Paul finished 4th. So with our rules, the higher position player is the one that starts these knockout matches. But over the best of 19, much longer format, I guess that only comes as any kind of advantage if it goes right down to the nitty-gritty, doesn't it?
Yeah, best of 19. Normally there's no tournament we play best of 19 legs, but yeah, I think I'll be a good player when it starts a little bit longer, and yeah, I'll feel comfortable at the board. So yeah, but for Paul it's the same, I think, and he's a great player, and I'll hope it will be a good final.
Yeah, I mean, take us back to any memories, Paul. Have you taken on Richard on the circuit?
Yeah, I played him in the Euro Cup. I beat Richard there, and I played him when he first started out playing darts in the Lakeside playoffs.
Oh, that's it. You told us, didn't you, about the curly hair?
Yeah, the curly hair, yeah.
That's not yours, by the way, Paul. You were talking about Richard, weren't you?
Richard's
Well, yes, you've both represented your country at the highest level. This is all a bit different. We've been to all of these tournaments. I mean, Richard Veenstra, you've won the biggest tournament there is on the planet, the Dutch Open. I mean, the amount of players that are there, thousands upon thousands, and now we're playing darts in our own homes. It's a big difference.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, to win that tournament after Lakeside, there's one tournament you want to win, and that's the Dutch Open. And if you can write your name on that trophy, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, this wouldn't be a bad one either, and I know that both of you would like to win. This is something a little bit different. It's something that's kept people watching entertained over the past 21 days. So let's get this final underway. We wish both of you the very best of luck. We're looking forward to it. I hope you are as well.
Yeah.
Cheers, Richard.
Good game, Paul.
All the best, Richard, mate.
So we'll let our players have a warm-up, of course, before we get the match underway. We mentioned the big stages these two have played on. I mean, Paul Hogan, 3 times a World Championship, quarter-finalist. The first time was back in 1995, where he faced Richie Burnett in the quarter-finals, who went on to win. The same thing happened in 2006 against Jelle Klaassen. Ogie lost out there in the quarters, and Jelle went on to win. And this year at the Indigo, he reached the quarter-finals again. Former British Classic champion, of course. And as for Richard Veenstra, well, as I mentioned, the international stage, a World Cup pairs win and a Europe Cup singles winner for the Netherlands. The Lakeside semi-finalist himself, and as we mentioned, Dutch Open champion last year. Plenty of pedigree on show. The practice starts are over.
Yeah, good game.
So this is the Geo-Comply Remote Darts League final, best of 19. It's Richard to throw first. Game on.
Uh, 98.
$140.
39.
95.
85.
60.
57.
60.
140.
Paul requires 146.
58.
Richard requires 82.
Game in 3.
Game shot and the first leg of Richard Veenstra. Second leg, Paul to throw first.
$99.
140.
100.
60.
100.
180.
The first of the match goes to Richard.
$85.
Richard requires 121.
Oh, 40.
Paul requires 117.
Oh dear. $77.
Richard requires 81.
Yeah, game in 3.
Yeah, in the bottom of the double six, Richard Veenstra takes the second leg. Third leg is Richard to throw first.
$95.
100.
115.
41.
180.
Second 180 for Veenstra.
140.
Richard requires 111.
79.
Yeah.
140.
Richard requires 32.
Game in 2.
This game shot and the third leg to Richard Veenstra. Fourth leg, Paul to throw first.
$140.
140.
140.
46.
81.
100.
Paul requires 140.
40.
140.
Paul requires 100.
40.
Richard requires 75.
35.
Paul requires 60.
16-2.
Game shot and the fourth leg to Paul Hogan. Fifth leg, Richard to throw first.
60.
83.
100.
42.
180.
Third 180, Richard Veenstra.
60.
Richard requires 161.
83.
81.
Richard requires 78.
Game in 2.
Yeah, another good finish. The fifth leg, Richard Veenstra. Sixth leg, Paul to throw first.
180.
Paul's first 180, the fourth of the match.
100.
100.
121.
170.
57.
Ball requires 51.
19.
140.
Ball requires 32.
32-3.
Game shot and the sixth leg, Paul Hogan. Seventh leg, Richard to throw first.
58.
60.
60.
100.
100.
59.
85.
97.
58.
70.
Richard requires 140.
100.
Ball requires 115.
99.
Richard requires 40.
Game in 3.
Yeah, the double 10 with the last. Take the seventh leg, Richard Veenstra. Eighth leg, Paul to throw first.
Come on. 140.
96.
100.
96.
42.
44.
137.
95.
Paul requires 82.
6. 76. 46.
Richard requires 170.
115.
Paul requires 36.
Ah, 18.
Richard requires 55.
Uh, 45.
Paul requires 18.
18 in one.
Finds that double 9 to take the 8th leg, Paul Hogan. 9th leg, Richard to throw first.
60.
100.
140.
100.
140.
125.
Richard requires 161.
42.
100.
Richard requires 119.
13 left.
106.
Yeah.
Paul requires 76.
Ah, 44.
Richard requires 13.
Yeah, into.
It's in to take the 9th leg, Richard Veenstra. 10th leg, Paul to throw first.
60.
121.
140.
58.
100.
60.
130.
92.
Paul requires 71.
60. What's left, Rich? I'll pick.
67 if it's the single. 67.
Yeah, it's a 4, yeah.
Yeah, 67.
Yeah, 17, 19, 23.
Richard requires 170.
75.
Paul requires 48.
48 in 2.
Yeah, it's down in the corner, but it's in for the 10th leg, Paul Hogan. 11th leg, Richard to throw first.
140.
140.
140.
140.
100.
100.
Richard requires 121.
97.
Paul, you require 121. 96 score, and Richard on 24.
Game of 1.
He finds it. Straight in there for the 11th leg, Richard Veenstra. The 12th leg is Paul to throw first.
$40.
81.
134.
140.
100.
140.
83.
Richard requires 140.
100.
Paul, you require 144.
88.
Richard requires 40.
20.
And Paul requires 56.
38.
Richard requires 20.
Oh, no score.
Paul, you require 18.
18 in 1.
The double 9 is there for the 12th leg, Paul Hogan. 13th leg, Richard throws first.
83.
140.
97.
100.
140.
45.
83.
80.
Richard requires 98.
58.
Paul, you require 136.
40.
Richard requires 40.
Yeah, game 1.
Yeah, the 13th leg, Richard Veenstra. 14th leg, Paul throws first.
On 40.
99.
83.
100.
180.
Yeah, the 5th 180 of the match. Second for Paul.
92.
Paul requires 98.
66.
140.
Paul requires 32.
32 in 3. Oh, sorry. It's not in.
It's not there, no. Thanks, Paul. 16 scored. Richard requires 70.
Game in 3.
Yes, the double 16 is there for Richard Veenstra. Sporting call there from Paul Hogan, but the 14th leg goes to Richard. The 15th leg is Richard to throw first.
140.
140.
140.
60.
45.
100.
100.
80.
Richard requires 76.
Yeah, game in 3.
It's game shot, and the Geo Comply Remote Darts League champion, Richard Veenstra. And the smile is there, and the applause from Paul Hogan.
I chucked my darts on the bed. He ain't been missing doubles.
I know. Congratulations, Richard. Superb once again. The finishing absolutely clinical. You must be delighted, sir.
Yeah. I think my finishing will help me this day, and I started really good with some couple 180s, and I'll need to keep Paul under pressure, and maybe he missed a double, and yeah, I'm delighted to win from Paul, and yeah, my finishing were great, so yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it was indeed. And Richard, were you during the game? Did you realise the pattern that the match was taking? You broke Paul's throw in the second leg with the 81 finish in the double six. You remember riding the corner, and from that point on, all the way through until the 14th leg, every leg went with the darts.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, and I was telling myself every time you have to get your own legs on the board, and maybe I'll get a break of that. But Paul was easily winning his legs after that, and I was struggling to get mine, and I was thinking, oh. But yeah, that's the doubles in the end that took me the winning, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely. And Paul, I mean, as I've described, you lost your throw back in that second leg. I mean, I didn't think it would be a key point, but do you remember you wanted 117 and hit the treble one?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think we'd be mentioning that again, but that break of throw was in leg 2. We then had a run of what? 11, 12 legs with the darts? And you would have carried that on.
I had a few chances. Richard gave me a few chances. I missed a 36 twice, and it could have been closer. But fair play to Richard.
You had some great chances, as you said. That double 18. You remember the one that pulled into the 4?
Yeah.
That's normally a good miss if you have another dart in hand. That would have been for a break, and you missed a bull on the 121. That would have got you back, and then we must say thank you for this, and Home Darts relies on this. You threw a dart on the double 16, called game shot, went to the board and declared that it wasn't in. That would have kept the hold of throw. So we appreciate the honesty there, Paul, right on the wire. And Richard, to be fair, that didn't fluster you. You may have heard it happening. Game shot, no, it's not. And then you went out on the 70 finish. Last dart in hand, you hit the double 16, ironically.
Yeah, that's what my doubles do the whole day. The last one is in, and yeah, that's keep the pressure off of you, and yeah, you got some relax, because yeah, if you're on front 2 or 3 legs, then it's easier to get 2 or 3 legs behind. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the run of finishes that you had, I mean, you had the 1-2-1, of course, in the semi-final, but throughout the 2 matches, it's all this area: 92, a 64, a 78, 82, 81, 78 again, 70, 76. These are the finishes that have won you the title today.
Yeah. If you can hit those finishes with 2 or 3 darts, then yeah, and your scoring is pretty well as well, then it's tough to beat you.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, credit where it's due, my friend, because we've had 2 versions of the Remote Darts League, both played under different formats. You've reached the final of both. That takes some doing. We all know what a consistent player you are. All of the players say what a tough player you are to play against. You've proven that throughout the campaign. I'm sure there's disappointment right now, but overall, surely happy with your RDL campaign.
Yeah, definitely. To get to two finals, it's, and to lose both as well. But I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic again, and I've really enjoyed every moment of it. And fair play to Richard for winning it, and to you, Richard, as well, for you've been here all the time and everything. It's been absolutely brilliant. Sponsors and everything, the 2 Kevins, Dean, the lot. It's been absolutely brilliant. Well run, absolutely superb.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. And you've just taken away my closing script, but no problem. No, it's great. It's great to hear it from the players, and we do appreciate it. Commiserations, Paul, for the final result. But congratulations again on what's been a terrific Remote Darts League campaign for you. But the final word, of course, goes to Richard Veenstra. You are our geo-compliant remote darts league champion. When you were invited at the start, you probably just thought, oh, well, this will be a bit of fun. And you've walked away as the champion.
Yeah, how can it happen, huh? Yeah. No, what more can I say? Against Paul said everything. I want to thank you all to have this done very smoothly, and it was a tremendous tournament for me. And yeah, as it is the winner, yeah, it's more delightful. But it was happy to get some darts at home, and yeah, you've done an amazing job. All done.
Now, do you have a trophy anywhere near you there that we can use as a prop?
I've got some scissors for his head.
What you'll have to do, we don't have to do it live, Rich, but you'll have to get a trophy in your house and mock up a photograph for us. Oh, he's going to go and get one now. Brilliant.
I've got some scissors for his head.
He's going to get a trophy. This is the photo opportunity. We're going to go to full screen on Richard, and he's going to stand there with a trophy.
Is this okay?
Is that what? Have you just tipped a plant out of that or something?
Yeah, you put some flowers in, then.
That is absolutely brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. There he is, the geo-compliant Remote Darts League 2 champion from the Netherlands. Flyers, Richard Veenstra.
Well done, Rich.
And some applause there from Paul. Well, we're going to say goodbye to the two of you for now. I believe you're going to be joining the after party, and rightly so. Dean Winstanley is going to be back with you very shortly. So we say goodbye now to Paul Hogan and our new champion, Richard Veenstra.
Cheers, Richard. Well done, Richard, mate.
Thank you, Paul.
Well played, mate.
Excellent.
Next time I'll bring some scissors and cut your hair off.
Yeah, promise Richard a haircut when we all meet again.
My wife is here, so she said no.
You can take this to the after party, gents. Don't worry about that. Hey, after 21 days of play for RDL2, we're going to bring this to a close. This, of course, has been brought to you by FSB, and we do, of course, want to give a few shout-outs before we leave you. Firstly, as far as FSB are concerned, thank you to the main men, Dave McDowell and Mark Blanford, for making this all possible. And, of course, our sponsors, GeoComply. We'd like to thank all of our 16 players that have taken part in RDL2. Each one of them has brought their own bit of character, special flavour to what's been a terrific event. I'd also like to personally thank our crew that make this whole event possible. We couldn't have done it, firstly, without the help of Sport Radar and Knockout Entertainment. They played their part technically for us. Our brilliant scorers, John, Tim, Luke, Big Rich, and I'll give a hi-ho to Dilip. He's the one that requested every night. So thank you to our scorers. Our director, Kevin Orchard, who's been working tirelessly over the last 21 days. Thank you, Kevin. And the same can be said of our producer, Kevin Dale. And last but certainly not least, Dean Winstanley, keeping all of the players in check. Dean will be back with you shortly, as I've said, for our special after show alongside tonight's players. So do stay online for that in about 5 minutes' time. But from me, Richard Ashdown, and everybody I've mentioned, this has been the GeoComply Remote Darts League 2. Our champion is Richard Veenstra. It's congratulations to him, and from me, goodbye.